Hello YouTubers, Roguemonkey Jr. here, and in today's video I wanted to talk about why grenades are so much easier to use in Battlefield 1 comparatively to older Battlefield titles such as Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. So this is quite a big problem, but DICE have done a lot of work to actually reduce the grenade spam in Battlefield 1, but is it enough? Now, the main reason why grenades are a lot easier to use in Battlefield 1 is because the nature of how they function. So in Battlefield 4, you had a detonation timer. So as soon as the grenade left the hand of the player, the detonation timer would start. And for the standard frag grenade in Battlefield 4, it was of 3 seconds. So you had to actually time the grenade for it to land at the player's feet and blow up to get a kill with it, as opposed to Battlefield 1, where the detonation timer begins when the grenade hits the ground. Not a wall, but literally the ground. So you can throw a frag grenade and boom, it will blow up after X amount of seconds. Now, before, a couple of patches ago, it was 0.9 seconds for the detonation of the grenade after it hit the ground. Now it's up to 1.5, and they also added a slight delay for the fuse timer and the time it takes for you to actually throw a grenade. But is this enough? In Battlefield 4, if you think about it, most players would use their grenades tactically to get players to move from cover, or sometimes the grenade would just blow up mid-air because of the detonation timer beginning when the grenade left the player's hands. Now in Battlefield 1, seeing as it pretty much all the grenades work as an impact grenade with different detonation timers, it doesn't give the player a whole lot of time to react. Now with the old one, it was 900 milliseconds, and now it's 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds isn't a whole lot of time to react to a grenade landing at your feet, then having to tell your hands to actually move your character and get far enough away to like survive the grenade throw or just survive the grenade. Sometimes you can survive if you are very quick with a little bit of health, because the blast radius is still quite large, but most of the time grenades will get you kills, and they're actually not very skillful or tactical to use. You can just throw them and just spam them and easily get kills that way. Now I just want to talk a little bit more about reaction time. Now the average pro players, now these are professional level players, they have a reaction time of somewhere between 150 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds, and some even less, and that's depending on whether you're awake or not, if you're feeling sleepy, if you've been concentrating a lot. So there's a bunch of factors that affect your reaction time. Now us more regular players have reaction time that's a little bit longer than that. So if you figure it out, you have a grenade coming to your feet, and now if you notice right away that the grenade's there, which would take you anywhere from like 200 to 400 milliseconds, so that's about a third of the time before the grenade detonates, and that's if it didn't bounce towards you. Now you already used 400 milliseconds of the time. Now you have to actually run away from the grenade and pick the right direction and make sure you're far enough for it to not kill you. Now on top of this, in Battlefield 1, there's obviously a lot of stuff happening in your screen. So you have the UI, you generally have a lot of action happening on screen, and most of the time you won't notice the grenade right away because you're either shooting on something, you're focusing and looking for players around you, so it takes you even longer to realize that grenade fell by your feet. Now this is how they made the grenades in Battlefield 1, and I feel as though they're trying to dumb it down to make it easier to play, and this is why grenade spam is such a big issue. Of course it was a bigger issue at the launch of the game. They did work on it a lot, but I still think that grenades are too easy to get kills with. You can throw them really fast. You don't have that much of a negative aspect of throwing a grenade. Like, you have your gun back in your hands pretty quickly after throwing a grenade, and most of the time they're going to result in kills because of that detonation timer of it being when it hits the ground instead of leaving the player's hands. Now in Battlefield 4, like I said earlier, you really had to time those things, and it took ages for you to get grenades out of the resupply crates from the support class. It took forever, and usually you wouldn't get more than one grenade in one life, and most players actually keep their grenade for tactical reasons, to either get an enemy out of cover or something of the sort, and they would then proceed to shoot the player with their gun. In Battlefield 1, it's totally the opposite. If you throw that grenade, you know you're probably going to get a kill with it, and it just makes it so that there's less emphasis on the gunplay and more emphasis on explosives. And I mean, there are a lot more explosives in Battlefield 1. I mean, you have a spectrum of grenades. You have the crossbow launcher, you have the large anti-tank grenades that the assault class runs with, and you also have the rifle grenades that are available to the medic class. On top of all this, a lot of game modes in Battlefield are made around clusters of little parts in the map. So let's think of operations. You have 64 players, so 32 on each team, facing off on this front line. So it's natural to have more people flinging grenades at each other because there's so many players in such a small area of the map. As for Battlefield 4, more often than not, the maps were quite large and there was a lot of other things happening, and there was a lot of room for all the players. So it's all about the nature of whatever game type you're playing. Of course, in Conquest, most of the time, there's less grenade spam than in Rush, Operations, Frontlines, and game modes which are very narrow and everything's happening in a small part of the map, so that doesn't help the problem. Ultimately, I think DICE made a mistake of making them smart grenades. By this I mean having them detonate X amount of seconds after they hit the ground. I much rather have had the system that was in Battlefield 4, having a detonation timer as soon as the grenade leaves the hands, so it makes it just a lot more tactical. And of course the resupply times, I think they should be longer with the ammo crates. They did a phenomenal job of actually working with the community to fix the grenade spam problem, but I don't think it's enough, and I think that there should be more emphasis on gunplay rather than having a quick kill with a grenade that you can just chuck even if you're in close range or close quarter combat and still manage to get a kill. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the grenade system in Battlefield 1, if you preferred it in Battlefield 4. Remember to hit that like button if you liked the video. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one, and don't forget to hit that notify bell to be notified when I post a video. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.